Greetings everybody, Okami Games Online. Welcome back to more Persona 5. Last time, we made our way through the distorted Shibuya up to the final battle. And in this episode, this is more of a completionism thing, but
You wish to view here is the Compendium.
as of now, I have registered every possible persona in the Compendium. So we're going to be scrolling through. You're going to see all of them in order of Arcana. So it's going to start with Fool, it's going to go to Magician, going to go to Priestess, so on and so forth. You can also see my progress in getting every persona level 99. But, jokes aside, this is basically the same thing that I was doing in Persona Q, was showing off all the personas there. So if there's one you're missing, then you can check it off here. This is mainly for the personas that you have to fuse with only 2 personas. Because, as you should know by now, there are advanced fusions, which are, you're given a preset number of personas that you need. So you can use that. There is a fusion calculator I can give you, which you can, provided I remember to put this in, I'll put it in the description. But it's a fusion calculator basically saying, if you combine this Arcana with this Arcana, you get this Arcana as a result. So you can do that, like in previous Persona games, it's average level. I forget if it's average level rounded up or rounded down. It might be whichever one's closer. Like, say, for example, it can either round up, your average level is 65, for example, and it could either round down to 64 or up to 68. It would round down to 64. It could be that. Not 100% sure on that. In addition to that, there are also, obviously, the ultimate personas, which you are only capable of fusing when you max out the matching Arcana. So take, for example, since we're on Emperor now, well, no longer, but that's beside the point. Odin is the ultimate Emperor persona. So, you need, your Emperor Confidant with Yusuke maxed. And to make things even more complicated, certain personas in the Compendium do require a specific combination of personas, even if it's just 2 personas to fuse. I will provide a complete list of this in the description as well. Again, provided I remember to edit it in. It would not be unlike me to forget to edit something like that in. Is there anything else I really need to cover? Oh yeah, Treasure Demons. That's another thing I need to cover. Treasure Demons, as you may know by now, work slightly differently than normal demons, because you cannot normally fuse them. And even at the end, like, as far as I made it into the game, I did have to grind out a few Treasure Demons. The best way to get Treasure Demons, at least the higher level ones, because most of the lower level ones you should have found by now, because the higher level ones can be found in Mementos only. If you go to the bottom of the normal part of Mementos, the part where you're driving around the car, there are a bunch of enemies that you can find there, and most notably, there's some of the Treasure Demons, some of the higher level ones, including one of the ones you saw under Fool, Crystal Skull. And there's a few others that you can only find in here like that. But a lot of them you also cannot even encounter in Mementos until after you beat Shido's dungeon. So if you're going to try to grind them out, grind it out after beating Shido's palace. And when you're in the final climb, that's the best time to go fighting all the Treasure Demons. There is also a trick that you can use if you don't want to grind them out. First, you need to find a Treasure Demon. Then what you need to do is you need to run away from the Treasure Demon if it's not one you need. If it is one you need, then obviously knock it down with something like Miracle Punch and claim it as your own. But if you don't need it, leave the battle, like run away from the battle. Then after that, get into a fight with another random enemy. run away from that battle as well. And if you go back to where that treasure demon was before, it will still be there. But when you encounter it, it will theoretically be a different treasure demon. So, if you need to grind them out, that is a useful tactic to keep in mind. I ended up doing that to get the Crystal Skull treasure demon. Outside of that, next thing to talk about is DLC personas. DLC personas, well, if you aren't familiar with them, certain personas, typically personas used by past characters, are in the Compendium. DLC personas will not count towards 100% completion, so you do not need to buy the DLC to go for 100%. I just have them in here because it's a nice touch and I love the game to death, or the series to death in general, so that's why I got the DLC. And, well, here we are with all the DLC personas. I'm honestly surprised I covered the DLC, as much DLC as I did. Even now, there's a few costumes I didn't show off that I'll have to show off in bonus episodes. But I think that's... now that is most of what I had to say. If you're trying to get 100%, if you don't want to do all the grinding to get to levels, keep in mind, you can also max out the Strength Confidant, which would allow you to fuse personas that are higher level than what you are. However, as you might have figured out by now, once you fuse Caroline and Justine as one and they become Lavenza, you can no longer max out the Strength Confidant. So, that is your deadline for maxing out the Strength Confidant. But I am really satisfied that we managed to do a max Confidant run in the end. We maxed out every single one of them, which allowed us to get every persona possible. Well, I guess that's not entirely accurate. We only have 99% Compendium completion. Now you might be wondering why that is. The reason for that is there is one final persona that we have not gotten yet, because it is a New Game Plus exclusive persona. Because of that, we will be covering it in a bonus episode. But don't worry, it'll be worth the wait. Trust me. I'm more impressed that I've talked throughout all of this and we're already on star personas. Then again, this is not going to be a long episode at the end of the day. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm glad Fusion Search was added, because filling out the Compendium in, like, Persona 3, or even Persona 4 on PlayStation 2, is really annoying, because you don't have Fusion Search. That was introduced into Golden. I'm glad we have it now. Now we're on Moon Personas, which means after Moon should be Sun. After Sun should be Judgment. And after Judgment, we'll have covered every single persona. Yeah, there's Judgment now. There's the Messiahs. There's Michael, who we defeated earlier. And that's every single persona we can get in our first run through the game. Just let that serve as your checklist.
Good luck.
And that's everything I wanted to do in preparation for the final boss. Next time on Persona 5, we're taking down that Holy Grail. And this time, we will be successful. See you guys then.